Hey, this is Les with Judson Vacuum Systems. I'd like to introduce you to the TNT. Now, the TNT is the original truck mount. It was in production for 41 years. And so I've not really done a video on the actual TNT. In its lifetime, it's gone through very few changes. It's pretty much like it used to be in the beginning. And it's proven to be one of well, I think it's the most proven truck mount that's ever been produced. We have so many that's still in operation in excess of 30 years, some in 35. It's pretty amazing, the service record of the TNT. But you know, I'm going to do a video about the TNT, but I want to do kind of give you a little brief history of Judson while we're doing this video. So I want to walk up here and show you a couple things that my dad did. These right here are just 3 of my dad's patents, and a lot of people may not know this, but that is the portable patent, and that was a fully automatic portable, had automatic in and exhaust. And this is actually one of the units we have left over. And this next patent over here is the first drag wand. Back in the early days, we didn't have a lot of vacuum, so you had to have a drag head with a lot of weight on it to create a seal on the carpet. So here's the actual wand. And it has a big heavy lead plate underneath here to put weight down to create the seal. I say back in the old days we didn't have a lot of vacuum. Now this right here is the wand patent, and we actually own 2 of the original wands. This one had a clear handle. It was kind of funny because the trigger was just a little on-off trigger, wasn't a quick trigger. There wasn't even wand lips back in the early days. You still had to use them as a drag wand. But that was his patent there on the wand. And then this right here is the blower that was on the AstroTurf machine, which my dad invented, the first gasoline powered truck mount in 1967. And we made this to clean AstroTurf football fields. But this was the blower. It was sitting on the floor of a box truck, PTO'd to the vehicle engine. You know, like the big Vortex or Aerotech is now. This blower produced 1200 CFM. 350 Chevrolet engine ran it, and the wand for this AstroTurf truck was 4 foot wide. It had a 4-inch vacuum hose. But I'll tell you some more about the AstroTurf patent. But this is the patent that was on the very first truck mount. This was it, 67. It was developed and finalized and then issued a patent. It was filed, I think, in 70 and issued in 74, the actual patent for the gasoline powered. But I thought I'd just go over that. But let's go back to the TNT, and I'll describe the advantages of a TNT. The TNT, like I said, we've been in production with this machine since 70, and it's always had a 120-gallon stainless steel tank. Now this is a thick 11-gauge stainless tank, and they last forever. I'm going to show you an older machine here in a minute. It comes with a 2.5-inch inlet and a 2-inch inlet for the vacuum, so it's ready to go for a high flow. It's very easy and common parts on the machine. That's one thing people really like about it, is the machine is easy to access the components. This machine has a 25 horsepower engine. Now this is a propane engine. The Kohler has finally came out with a factory propane engine. In the old days you had to convert to propane, and that would affect the warranty. But now we have a factory propane engine that has full warranty, which is pretty cool. And I'll go over in a minute what the advantages of propane is. But I want you to just take a look at the machine. Now, one of the advantages that Judson's always had is if this is sitting in the side door, I would be about right here in the driver's seat, about like this. So it's always pulling fresh air in here, and it blows the air out the back of the truck, and it also blows the heat coming off of the little giant heater, so it power ventilates the van. And that's kind of neat because you can actually sit in the driver's seat, in the passenger seat, while the machine's running, and it's not hot at all. It's actually, you know, cool air is coming in by you. So that's kind of neat. It's always getting good fresh air, and it's always power ventilating the rear of the vehicle out. And this is equipped with a pump out. You know, that's that common pump out everybody uses, but it's easy to get to. Again, it'll be sitting between the seats, easy access to the pump out pump. And we just tie in a fitting there to do the pump out. Walk around here on the back side. We use a cat pump. One of the big advantages of Judson is we've always run cold water through the pump, and the regulator operates cold, and we actually pull your chemical through the pump. And as long as we're not using a caustic soda or something, like you've seen those injection heads, those are made for like caustic soda so you don't put anything hazardous in the pump. But our detergents we're running through the machine are actually help the pump. It makes it slick, it kind of lubricates it, and it's always worked good for us because we have pumps that's not even been rebuilt or for 10 years, you know, because they're running cold water. That's a good advantage. Again, it's easy to get to the head. You can just take these 8 screws out, pull this head off without removing any hoses, and replace the seals and slide it back on real fast. Again, everything's up on top of the recovery tank, so everything is easy to access. You're not having to bend down or try to strain to get to the components. This has a 45 blower on it, 400 CFM. Right there's a Baco valve, set at 16 inches of mercury. 2.5 inch unrestricted plumbing. There's no filters inside this tank. There is a grate coming across here to prevent anything large to go in, like a rag or something will not go in there. But there's 0 restrictions here coming in. Then we go to a 3-inch Stoddard silencer, and this relieves the back pressure here. So now we have 0 exhaust back pressure. We're tying the engine into the exhaust after the silencer. That's the pressure. If there's any pressure at all, it's always between here. This is a Venturi. This creates a suction on this engine, so we have no back pressure. Then we come down and goes to a second silencer. It ties the blower and the engine together, and then it goes to the floor here. Now let me step back here. You can adjust this, you know, and go left or right, and you got some adjustment on going through the floor. Once we go through the floor, we can put a 90 underneath the van, so it doesn't exhaust straight down on the ground, burn the grass if you're parked on grass. Now this is an option we offer for the TNT, which just brings the sound level down a little bit, but standard TNT comes with a turbo muffler, like you can get it at auto parts. Again, we use real common parts. There's a lot of common parts on this machine. There's the switches and the vacuum relief valve. It has a standard valve on it. This is a clean out here to clean the recovery tank out. We've done a few little changes on the TNT. I'm going to show you in a minute a TNT that's 26 years old. It's been run hard commercial. I mean, it's had a hard life. We've changed the dash now. It steps out a little bit. It's a little easier to get to all the components here in the back. Like I say, it's very easy to repair the machine. It's not hard to get to the components. And we use common belts. You can get local. And again, when you buy a Judson machine, you got me to support you. In other words, if you have a problem, we got a good chance of getting it repaired over the phone. The heater on this machine here is the number 4 little giant heater, and what this does is it allows you to run a high flow one, and it'll maintain 240 degrees cleaning commercial work. Now normally to maintain high temperature on a truck mount, you got to keep letting the trigger on and off, you know, it'll catch up, but this will sustain 240 high flow. The propane tank here is a 15-gallon tank, and it comes, the installation of this machine is very easy. You mount the propane tank, and you just got a hose from here going to the engine. This goes to the little giant heater, and that's it for installation. You have no fuel taps, no electric fuel pumps or anything. It's just real simple. Mount the tank, run the hoses to the machine, and it's ready to start cleaning. That's how simple the installation will be. When you're running the machine and the heater, doing commercial work, the total consumption is going to be around 1.8 to 1.9 gallons an hour. And that's doing commercial work. Now naturally when you're doing residential or apartments, it will be less because the heater, every time you let the trigger go, the heater shuts the flame off and there's not consuming any fuel at that time. So that's what's so neat about a heater. Now another thing about a propane system versus anything else out there, again, it's the simplicity of the machine. It's just basic parts. There's no switches or limit switches or a lot of wires. What I like about propane is that there's no preheating required. You can just run your hoses in there. By the time you walk in there and grab the wand, you're at 240 right then. You know, just start the machine, start the heater. By the time you get to the wand, it's ready. So you don't have to sit there and preheat the machine to get it up to temperature. That's another good advantage of propane. But let's see what else. Like I say, we got many customers that I can refer you to that's got these machines that's 25, 28 years old. Now they've replaced engines and pumps, but they wore them out putting all those years on the machine. A lot of machines have been in multiple vans where they pulled them out and reinstalled them in new vans whenever your van wears out. So that's another good advantage of having a simple design. You could transfer it into another vehicle fairly easy, and it's not a big deal. I'm trying to think what else to tell you about the TNT. 240, 400 CFM, 240 high flow wand. And the pump's capable of going up to 1500 psi for doing your tile tools. The limit on the whole system would be a 1300 psi maximum pressure on this, but normally you don't need more than that to run a spinner anyway, so we're fine with that. To gain more pressure capabilities on a heater, we would have to go with steel coils or stainless steel coils, and that gives up efficiency. So to get that efficiency and performance, you know, you can have a big heater, but it's going to consume a lot more fuel. But for us to have 240 sustained high flow and it burning right at a half gallon an hour is pretty amazing. So it's a very efficient system. But let's walk outside, and I would like to show you a machine that's had a hard life. I mean, this machine was running, doing restaurants all night long. And then it would come, the crew, the night crew would bring it in. The same machine would go out doing residential or office complexes during the day. Now this machine, I'm telling you right now, has had several engines put on it, but it has been run hard. And this machine's actually 26 years old. So let's walk outside. It's actually came in for some repairs, and we are going to do some maintenance on the heater. So let's walk out here and let me show you this machine. This is a machine that's basically a commercial carpet cleaning rig, and that machine's 26 years old. Let's see, maybe we can get up in there, Jack, and I'll talk about it. I'd like to explain how it's configured. Here, let me just have the camera and you can get up in here. All right, here. Just show the machine here now. There's a couple. See, it's basically the same design as what I just showed you. It's like, so we haven't really changed the layout or the way a TNT looks. The dash is a little different, you know. But this machine's had a hard life now. I'm telling you right now, this thing has really got the hours on it. And it's 26 years old. And there's a couple little things we've done here. The water tank right here is a 100-gallon tank. Now normally on a truck mount, you know, we have a little float box right here. And you notice it's gone. Well, that makes it even more simple. So now we're just looking at an engine, a blower, and a pump. That's all that's here. And so we took this tank off and run the hoses to the big tank. So basically we just made that little float tank, like all truck mounts have, a 100-gallon float tank now. And so it draws from there. So that enables us to remove that little tank and simplify the machine even more. But yeah, this machine has got a lot of hours on it. It's 26 years old, and it runs all night, every night, doing restaurants. But it's a nice setup. I mean, basically this is how we do a box truck. You got a lot of room in here, and there's all these extra tools and wands and stuff like that. But I just wanted to show you what an abused TNT looks like. I'm telling you, this thing's been run hard and put up wet, as they say. But I really can't think much more to say, but I just want to make a video on the TNT, explain the propane, the new concept of the propane. Like I say, propane gives us extended life of that engine, and it also gives us green emissions, low emissions by having a factory propane engine. I think that's going to be pretty much the future of the carpet cleaning industry as far as I'm concerned. We are having custom built propane tanks made, and where you can actually fill your own bottle at your facility, so you don't have to go out and try to find propane. And when you're buying propane in bulk like that, you're saving a lot of money. Guys are getting around $1.89, $1.90 a gallon buying it that way. So that kind of takes the hassle out of the propane deal, is by being able to fill your own bottle. So I'm working with a propane Manchester tank manufacturer to make us some larger capacity tanks, and plus have a fill tank that you have at your facility to fill your own bottles. So propane extends the life of that engine because the oil has no carbon in it. So it'll the engine, if a normal engine lasts 4,000, you'll get about 6,000 hours out of that engine by running propane. And again, it gets zero or close to zero emissions, for the exhaust. So you got some good things you can say there. Everybody's going green. But I just wanted to say, make a quick video about the actual TNT. I've not ever done one, but I appreciate you spending some time and watching the video. Thanks.